Hello everyone, it's Funch, and we're gonna be back with another video today, and we're gonna be making a little different video today. So I just wanted to say sorry guys for the lack of videos. I know last week I posted like zero videos, and um, the week before that I posted like one video, and past 2 weeks I've had like one or two videos with a big gap. No, I have not stopped my channel. No, I have not finished my channel. No, I'm not bored of it. I had a busy week. I had lots of tests. I had lots of quizzes in school. You already know, busy week for me. But we're back today with another video, and this video is gonna be very different from what I usually do. Normally, I have clips of games, but today we're gonna be doing a review. So, today's review is gonna be on a movie I recently watched, and a movie that is currently in the theaters that probably a lot of you guys have watched. And the movie I watched was The Batman. The Batman, which was directed by Matt Reeves, released on the 4th, and I actually watched it on Tuesday. And I gotta say, this movie was a huge masterpiece. So, let's talk about it. So, I'm gonna be talking about the pros and cons of this movie. Now, I have many pros and probably not that many cons, but let's get into it. So, this movie actually was directed by a different director, Matt Reeves. I think from the Dark Knight trilogy, it was directed by Christopher Nolan, and another director left off the Batman, and Matt Reeves came in and directed it. In this movie, we see a different actor acting as Batman. In the Dark Knight trilogy, we saw Christian Bale act as Batman, but in this movie, Robert Pattinson was the Batman, and we have a different villain, which is the Riddler, instead of the Joker. Now, I gotta say, no, we have a different actor as Batman, but Robert Pattinson was a masterpiece. I think he was probably one of the most scariest Batmans in all of the Batmans ever made, and that's how it should be. This movie was not comedy. It was not a comedy movie. There was no comedy in it. There was no fun. It was a scary horror thriller movie, and that's how I thought Batman should have been. But then, and there were movies like Batman and Robin and many other movies that probably failed because they were comedy movies. And I'm not saying that there should be no comedy, but I'm saying that the whole movie should not be based on comedy, and it should be like how it should be, like how it's created: horror, thriller, and suspense. Now, this movie has not failed me to show probably one of the best villains ever. Having a lot of competition from Joker and Christopher Nolan, Matt Reeves probably had a lot of competition since he was facing against one of the best directors and one of the best villains. But still, Matt Reeves, probably one of the best directors I've ever seen, behind Christopher Nolan, obviously, probably made one of the best villains ever. The Riddler gave us probably one of those most psychopathic like thoughts, and he played it really well. The Riddler, whoever played the Riddler, was really good. His character obviously was supposed to be some psychopath who was trying to kill everyone in Gotham, and he played that role very well. Like you should see him in real life and in the movie. Two different people. He never failed us in the movie. This is probably one of the best villains, probably behind Joker, because I feel like Joker played it well. And fun fact, at the end of the movie, there's a cameo of the Joker. So, now let's talk about the Batman. And the Batman, whoever played Robert Pattinson. So, Robert Pattinson was a new guy. He's actually new. So, let's talk about it. Robert Pattinson, as I said, looked very scary. And even when he's in the suit, without the suit, he probably would have looked the same. Bulky, um, terrifying and scary. In the opening scenes, um, Matt Reeves was able to introduce Batman in such a scary and terrifying way. Well, he comes from the shadows, and I love that. Like, obviously, when whoever would come in the movie, Matt Reeves would introduce him in such a scary and such a best way ever. Not just introducing them on like this morning walk. He would introduce them from a very scary perspective. Like in the beginning, spoiler alert by the way, he introduced Robert Pattinson or Batman as he comes from his shadows, and I love how the way Matt Reeves directed it that everyone in the audience would know whenever Batman would walk slowly, he would always scare anyone he's coming towards, and the people, or like the villains or anything, they would know that they have nowhere to escape. and Matt Reeves would just direct that so wellly, like that everyone, even in the audience, would get scared of the Batman, and that's why that slow walk's there. And I feel like in the other movies, they only have one perspective from like the um, other characters or from probably like the main character's view. But in this movie, we saw it from many perspectives. We saw it from the villain's perspective. We saw it from every type of perspective, from other characters' perspectives, Batman and Catwoman's perspective, and we also saw it from the Riddler's perspective. So we get to know more about him and what his plan is. Now, it was very strange that at the beginning, um, Marius was giving away a lot of things from um, the Riddler's perspective, but now I understand why he did that. To add more conflict in the movie. And also, something to note Catwoman in this movie, um, Selena in the movie, she was probably one of the best. She acted really well. The performance was amazing. Probably one of the best roles and actresses of Catwoman. I think we saw Catwoman in Batman Returns, and that was okay. But in this movie, they were able to put Catwoman as such a significant character, and it was so well. Obviously, great job to all of the actors and actresses in this movie. It was splendid. And I love the way how the Riddler gave all the messages in such a scary way. Now, obviously, in this movie, there was a lot of violence and stuff, but obviously, there had to be some type of violence and stuff just to make the movie look very scary and to make it very terrifying. This movie is obviously a horror movie and not a comedy movie like some of the movies, but because of their uh, horror that they put in the movie, it's probably why did so well. All of the actresses and actors in the movie had probably one of the best performances, and even with such tight competition from Christopher Nolan, Matt Reeves did such a great job. Honestly, he's probably one of the best directors. Now, do I think The Batman's one of the best movies? No, and I'll tell you why. So, continuing on with the pros, I think another great factor that I can never forget about the movie was the music. The music was so good, and the music by Michael Giacchino. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. He probably did such a great job in the movie. Music, it was so amazing. Like his like his music on the Batman theme and something's in the way or something. That was really good. Like I loved it. Like it matched the music. It was very emotional and stuff. And yeah, even in the movie, they made it really emotional and stuff. At some parts, they made it very like scary, and they made I don't know how to say this, but they made it very like in a way strict. They made everyone be in their roles. There was no comedy. There was no overacting. Everyone was in their roles, and they were doing such a great job. And this movie actually never left the darkness, and that was great. This movie was very dark from start to finish, and it was amazing. And I wanted to talk about the end too. The end of the movie or resolution was amazing too, splendid. Where um, when you think Catwoman and Batman are going together, they part their ways, and that was amazing. Spoiler alert, by the way. Um, and yeah, now we're gonna be moving on to the cons. Now, this movie is very splendid and is a masterpiece in my opinion, but obviously it had cons. So the biggest con I can even think of is its runtime. Now, I don't know if you've done the research, but I've done the research that Matt Reeves had to cut down a lot when he would watch it for his like testing and stuff and screening and the test screenings and stuff. And he did a lot of cuts. And even without, the movie was like 3 hours with credits and 2:46 without credits. Now, when I watched this in the theaters, I think they took really long to go to the climax. I feel like they took very long to like introduce everyone and to continue on with the plot. Like the rising action and like it took very long. So, and I feel like it could have been done a little faster. They could have cut down a lot of the scenes. There were some unnecessary scenes in the movie, and they could have cut that down. And pretty much as another con where like I feel like they could have implemented Riddler more. I feel like Riddler was not too implemented in the movie. I feel like the movie was only basically based on the Batman. They could have implemented the Riddler more. And I feel like also Catwoman really didn't have the biggest role until the climax. So there could have been some backstory on that. They just like introduced her, but Other than that, I feel like the movie is amazing. And if I had to give it out of 10, I'll probably give it 9 to 10 out of 10. For a reboot and for someone like me who doesn't watch Batman, I love the movie. It's like a movie that you can just walk into and probably have no idea what's happening, but still understand what's happening. They made a reboot and they made this reboot amazing. So, I love this movie. It was a masterpiece, and I think you guys should watch it too. So, it was Vanch, and I'll be frequently adding more videos now.